Every means possible. This is not she.
Police advancing further into Middle Street. They're about to cross the Thomas Street intersection here this afternoon. We have one police station here that are northwards on Thomas Street. So missiles still being hurled from what is a parking lot here on Thomas Street. The protesters are taking shield behind that wall.
Don't do it, doggy.
This
It's only rich people. Come on, okay, now script.
Don't carry, I try to calm him. His friends here, I can't him.
Script.
Where is the hell of the air?
what appears to be another moment of calm here at the intersection of Thomas and Middle Street. But do not be fooled. The protesters that are further down on Thomas Street, heading northwards, are still hurling missiles at the police. Bricks, bottles, whatever they could find are being hurled at the police that are gathered here at the intersection of Thomas and Middle Street. There comes
That's why you sit about the can't go there. That's why they go. They just want to. Yeah, both of them. You get that. What is that called?
So, I look at what's going on in Thomas Street. We have some protesters who have retreated to the intersection of Thomas and Newmarket Street. They're just before the corner, but it is believed that why the officers just retreated from heading towards those protesters who are northward is because we have more medical institutions on this street. We have the medical arts, we have Eureka Labs in this vicinity that would be right in front of where the officers would be shooting. Of course, we saw when they went into East Street, but they retreated after a few shots because they were right in front of the Balwant Singh Hospital. So the protesters are there almost near the Newmarket Street intersection with Thomas Street, and the police are still So Brian Young, it seems as though his emotions have gotten the better of him. Of course, this is the father of Adriana Young, who was calling for peace this morning. He called for peace, he called for quiet in front of the hospital. He even went out to the protesters, he asked them to be quiet, he asked them to calm down, and it worked for a while. But the tensions have flared between the police and the officers, and of course those tensions have gone political undertones that are being uttered here at this standoff between police and protesters. It is unavoidable, but please do not allow these rhetorics to enrage you as citizens of Guyana. This is a time where, in light of this child being so tragically losing her life, it calls for all of us to be united on a peaceful front. But here at the Georgetown Public Hospital, it is the opposite of peace. It's a stark contrast to peace. The tensions have flared. The situation has gotten out of control. And it is absolutely insane. So, I don't know if you can see between these three officers who are under the three, but the barricade that was set up by protesters on Middle Street has not been lit as yet. It was assumed that it would be lit, but it hasn't been lit as yet because, of course, the police advanced to that intersection before they could light that. The barricades in Thomas Street are just about burned out. One of them is just about burned out. The other one is still going. It hasn't really caught any ferocity as yet, but that's still going on the other half of Thomas Street. And then there's a barricade here on Middle Street that hasn't been lit.
I want to take the press. I don't wear social media and fill them down. And we have to take the press. You say nothing, don't argue with us.
We said nothing.
You can't be out. You make me even cook my husband or to come out.
So we have some civilians who have advanced very close to the police here at Thomas Street. It seems as though they're videoing and taking pictures of the police officers who are here. For those of you who are just joining us, we're coming to you live from inside the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, but at the intersection of Thomas and Middle Street, where a standoff between police and protesters has intensified. So far, we can confirm that one police has been injured and one civilian has been injured. The civilian that has been injured, Jump Defense came into the hospital and is most likely being treated. She has an injury to her knee, it appears. And the police who was injured was hit just between the eyes on the nose. So that is the injury count we can give you at this moment. No other confirmation. That will have to come later, most likely from an official utterance from the Guyana Police Force. So we have civilians who are now walking back to the intersection of Thomas and Middle Street.
Travis, you know I'm after you long, be careful! No persons will want me to teach on if anything happens to you. Of course, INEWS can confirm that we have passed the 4-hour mark for Adriana Young's forensic autopsy, and we have not had any word yet. Of course, it was confirmed earlier this morning that while regular autopsies take about half of an hour, the autopsy for 11-year-old Adriana Young, who was found dead in a pool at the Doubleday Hotel in Tushan, East Bank, Essequibo last Thursday, the forensic autopsy that is being conducted on her remains would take up to 4 hours. We have passed that 4-hour mark and we haven't had word. What we can confirm though was that Adriana's mother, who was in the room and witnessed the autopsy with other relatives, had come out of the room just about 45 minutes ago. That was before the police standoff with protesters at the Middle Street entrance to the Georgetown Public Hospital that has now spiraled out of control. Motorcycles with the born exhaust that gives off that explosive sound. So that might have been the exhaust of a motorcycle there on Thomas Street.
I don't know why the media don't move. I don't know why the media don't move.